Okay, I'd like to call the EHA board meeting, annual meeting, November 12th, 2024 to order. And then I'd also like to, postpone it until 1 o'clock when we have a forum.
So I think we do roll call and then.
Oh, okay. Let us do roll call then. Commissioner Andrews. There. Commissioner Burgess, not here. Commissioner Mandel, not here. Commissioner Friend. Hello. Hello. And Commissioner Trainer is not here.
So I have heard from Commissioner Trainer, Commissioner Mandel, and Commissioner Andrews that they will all be available at 1.
Yeah.
So what we'd like to do is postpone this.
And then it's considered an adjournment.
An adjournment.
Is the language.
Yeah,
Okay.
the adjournment, and then we'll reconvene at 1.
Okay. So meeting is adjourned.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order and do roll call. Commissioner Andrews.
I don't believe Commissioner Andrews was in yet. She had another meeting and she was gonna hop in after that meeting, so I'm assuming she will join us shortly.
Chair Smith, she just sent a text message. She was having trouble logging in as well and asked to be on that text thread just so she'd get the link.
Okay. So Commissioner Burgess, we know, is not able to attend. Commissioner Mandel.
Present.
Commissioner Perez.
I am here.
And Commissioner Trainer.
Present.
Alrighty, we'll wait for Commissioner just to join. At this,
Different.
do you want to wait for the election of officers for Cynthia?
Yeah, we're just gonna send her the link.
Okay.
It sounds like we're having problems with our systems. We'll get there.
Maybe I can implement some new security stuff.
Yeah, that could be. I know we were having problems with our internet going down, and we were dropping things off. That was challenging.
Yeah. So
Oh, yeah, she is. Yep.
There she is. Hello. So I'll call your name.
Hello.
Commissioner Andrews, are you present?
Present, finally. I feel like I just went over hills and mountains to get here.
We have 5 of you.
Thank you. So at this time, we're gonna go over the election of officers, and so I'll call for a nomination and then a vote on the nominees for each office in sequence. So the first one is for the chair. Do I have any nominations?
I would nominate Cynthia again. Second.
I respectfully decline.
Do we have any other nominations there?
I think in this, where we are in life and the organization right now, I think it would be wise to continue with our current president. So I would nominate Corinne for 1 more year.
I think that's pretty prudent considering all that's going on.
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty then, let's do vice chair. Do we have any nominations there?
I nominate John Trainer.
We're supposed to talk about this before you do it. I have to decline that. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. But that's why I know this is recorded, but I think we're friends, so I'm not offended by your decline.
Do we have any other nominations? Or
I do.
nominees?
I do. Cynthia Andrews for vice chair, please.
Okay, thanks. Since with the consistency,
Yeah, let's keep it consistent.
okay. So Cynthia, are you able to do that? Are you willing to accept that?
We pray that you stay healthy and in town.
Okay. Well, we have to vote on that, yes. Okay, at this point, I'll do them together if that's okay. For chair, Corin Smith, and vice chair, so I would need, Cynthia Andrews, and I will need a motion made. Motion. Okay, so moved. Alrighty. Next is the,
I think everyone votes.
Okay.
oh, yes,
Um,
all those in favor,
Aye.
any against? Okay, now we're official.
Congratulations.
Let's talk about committee staffing. So I'd like to call for a motion to appoint, oh, sorry, I just read your notes. Okay, so let's talk about the committees that we have currently. So the Finance and Real Estate Committee has Commissioner Burgess and Smith on it. The Personnel Policy Committee is Commissioner Andrews, Burgess, and Perez. The Housing Policy Committee is Commissioner Manzel, Perez, and Trainer. Is this still an area of interest for everyone on those said committees? Because we want to line them up to your interests.
I will not be able to run for any office of any kind. March of next year will be my final, the end of my term, and I'm not gonna try again.
Okay, so this is just for the
So,
committees.
I
though.
think, yeah,
To clarify, Commissioner Perez, your term actually ends in October of next year.
March 7th, March 2000. Where's that over here?
They always end in October. October 6th is kind of the.
Oh, I knew, that's not what the sign,
If you're leaving earlier than that, of course, that's your right. I just wanted to clarify that your term, you would be leaving before the end of your term.
I plan on leaving on March 27th.
yeah. So I think that probably assigning you to a committee until that point makes sense.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so by state law, I'm supposed to appoint chair committees, so. I only need to announce if there's going to be a conclusion of the process, so no need to vote. Correct? Okay.
So you're just leaving, so everyone's
We're
just
just leaving
comfortable
it
in
at
the same.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay, sorry, that was a painful part. Next, we're going to public comment. There is a limit to commenters for 2 minutes per commenter. Do I have any? No? Okay, do we have any communication?
Do we have anybody on Zoom that's interested in commenting?
I'm looking right now and I'm not seeing anyone. No one's put any in chat. If you are on the Zoom and you have a comment, please raise your hand or put it in chat. Otherwise,
That would be public, but not communications.
oh, sorry.
Oh,
I
sorry.
thought you meant, public.
I was talking about public comment.
Okay, yeah,
Okay,
communications would be like staff or like the
Yeah.
resident committee.
Yeah.
yeah, which we have some staff online, so if anyone on staff, any staff have any comments?
Oh, I just remembered something on the Parkland project. Has the demolition been put off?
No, the demolition has not been put off. It's getting ready to go out to bid currently from our general contractor. And so, it's on track. It's delayed a little bit than what we had anticipated. We're hoping that the bid will be awarded probably in January timeframe. And so you're probably gonna see the actual demolition probably happening in spring.
March, something like
March timeframe, yeah.
Thank you.
So there was some things, so there's like asbestos removal, there's some other things that needed some testing, and so that delayed things a little bit, but it's still moving forward.
Great, thank you.
So last call for any communications? Hearing none, let's go to the executive director's report. Mary Swenson will present.
Yeah, so, we have the community benefit agreement subcommittee that was appointed, and it was supposed to end in December. And that work's not going to be completed, probably most likely by that time, so I'd like to have that continued. And I would like to have that continue to February. Mainly because that's when our next meeting is, so if we could just continue that committee till the end of February, and if I remember right, and.
Chair
the chair
gets to decide that, yep.
Can decide that, but I don't know whether anybody else on the committee wants to, address anything regarding that continuance.
Madam Chair. I think that's a good idea. I mean, we've been trying to come up with the right language and examine like how this is gonna play out, and it's not coming back in a fast, sorry, I'm struggling with words today. I don't know what's going on. So anyway, it's not ready. We're not there, and it needs more work. We want to get it right, and we need to make sure that the impacts to Everett Housing Authority are vetted, and that we are taking into account all the concerns of the impacted departments and making sure that the language is right. So.
Can I make a
Section
motion?
Andrew.
Or do I have to wait?
I don't think.
Unless you have a motion relating to the committee itself, I think that, that the chair can, just continue it, but if you have any recommendations from the committee itself that require a motion, you may want to do that.
I don't know if
I
it
know-
does, but I would like to move that we continue this process through February.
I know that there was also some questions raised regarding, the committee at the last committee meeting that, there was a desire to have this impact any new development that comes on. And we have Mariner Square that's kind of right in the middle of the process of selecting, a contractor. So I want to make sure that everybody's aware of that, because that could have some impact on that. And there was some discussion in the committee about having maybe a pilot program or something that, Mariner Square could be under, but it wouldn't be the full community benefit agreement. That would take some work on my part to decide how that would be, but I just want to make sure everybody's aware of that, so that there is in a sense, that this would occur without some kind of direction from the commission.
So at this point, we'll be continuing the committee into February and doing kind of a trial run on some of the theories behind it.
If the commission wants me to look at doing some kind of a pilot on the Mariner Square project, I would suggest that there be some kind of a motion from the commissioner to that effect.
Okay.
It wouldn't necessarily be the entire community benefit agreement. It's gonna take me some time to figure out what that would be, but I think the direction from the commission would be helpful.
Okay.
Madam Chair,
Can I amend?
can I interrupt for just a second? It's important that we get the terminology right. The community benefit language is for the resolution. The agreement that's made between the Everett Housing Authority and whomever that is, typically the Building Construction Trades Council, will either be a community workforce agreement or a project labor agreement. So. Thank you.
So for you, Cynthia, are you gonna make a motion on that? Cause it has to come from the committee member. So,
Yeah, it would.
yeah.
Yes, but I
I
want to
could
get,
make I could make a suggestion
Can you-
that go ahead, Cynthia. Commissioner Andrews.
I'm open to listening to your suggestion before I make a motion.
So I would suggest a motion to the effect of the commission directs the executive director to look into into some form of a labor agreement relating to Mariner Square. And I'm not sure if I'm even wording that right.
You want me to do it?
John,
Yeah.
yes, I'll second. I think we're on the same I think we're on the same page.
Yeah, I would say, so the motion would be to authorize the executive director to enter into a project-specific project labor agreement or community workforce agreement for the Mariner Square project. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, but the terms yet to be determined, because I will have to wrap my head around that, how that would work.
And I will second that motion. Thank you, John. We're gonna,
Um,
Do we need,
I was gonna think that we should vote.
yeah.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? All right, we're moving forward that way. Thank you. Is there anything further, Mary? for
The only thing that I did want to talk just briefly to put it on your radar is, you know, with the current election results, we have a huge immigrant population within our housing parties, and so I'm not too sure the impacts on that. I just want to, you know, put it out there. We'll be looking at that closely and see how that impacts us. If it does impact us, it might not. But I want to be, you know, I want to put that on the radar. I'm just kind of looking ahead and trying to figure out if it's gonna impact us in any way. So if it does, as we move forward, we will be in contact with you and you know how that works out.
Are we all as an organization gonna be looking at that mirror? Are you gonna have a?
I don't think there's gonna be, and this is so early on, we know that the whole immigration was a big part of the whole campaign. And so I anticipate that be followed through. I just don't know how that's gonna impact any of our residents. And I just don't know. But I do know that we have a pretty significant immigrant population, and Janina, you can probably shed some light on that.
Yeah, I don't have specific numbers that I can provide right now, but we can certainly get that information. So just for everyone's background, the way that the HUD housing programs that we operate treat folks who are what are called ineligible non-citizens, which are folks who don't have an immigration status that allows them to be on the program. It doesn't necessarily mean they're undocumented, they can be on certain types of visas, etc. It just means they don't qualify to get federal assistance. If at least one family member in the household is eligible, then what we do is called prorating the assistance. And so we prorate it based on the percentage of the family members that are eligible. There was a rule that was proposed during the prior Trump administration that would have said that if any members of the household were ineligible, the entire family would not be able to stay on the program. And so that would be the type of policy change that we might be expecting to come out of the administration.
So you know, nothing to be like alarmed about, it's just be aware of, and as we move forward, we will just keep you posted.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that's all I have today.
Okay, perfect.
Mary, I'm sorry, Mary. So will we get information? Will that be coming from HUD or is that from somewhere
So
else?
anything that is done, it would be from it would be enforcing the immigration laws, basically. And so I don't know necessarily if that would come from HUD or it would come from.
The particular rule that I'm talking about would specifically come from HUD.
Oh, okay.
They would be making a rule
Gotcha.
change that would determine who is eligible to receive housing assistance.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was specifically related to HUD programs.
Thank you.
Any other further questions? Okay. I'd like to turn our attention to the regular meeting held on October 7th, 2024. The meeting minutes in particular, I would like to look at approving these. So I would need a motion to approve the minutes.
Move for approval.
And a second,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, minutes are approved. Next, I'd like to move through the consent agenda, particularly the section 8 payments for the month of September 2024. The summary of vouchers for the month of September 2024, and acceptance of the executive director's report on write-offs of tenant accounts receivable, which was distributed separately.
That was sent out this morning.
Mhm.
We had time to review.
And I don't know if there's any questions from any of the board on these. If not, I'd like to call for a single motion to approve the 3 mentioned.
So,
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Let's look for other items for individual consideration. Resolution number 1603, approving section 125 cafeteria plan for 2025. And our interim director of human resources, Kelly King, to introduce.
Hi, so I've never introduced this before, but first time for everything. The section 125 plan is a program that we've had in place at least since I've been here, at least 6 years, probably more. And allows for employees medical premiums to be deducted pre-tax. So a benefit to the employees because then it lowers their federal income tax. If we were going through the same administrative we use a group called WageWorks through Health Equity that we've been using for the last several years. They actually put together all the plan paperwork and everything like that for us. And then if it's approved, we send it out to employees to elect to participate so that they can have that tax reduction. So in my knowledge, we've done it for at least the last several years. So.
Great. Any questions for Kelly? Hearing none. I need a motion to approve resolution number 1603.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Okay.
Aye.
And no, anyone against? No. The next item is the financial statements for a quarter ending September 30th, 2024, and these were also distributed separately. Financial consultant Sandy will present.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And just to tee this up for Commissioner Andrews and Trainer and Menzel, when we met at noon, we gave a full presentation of the in a lot of detail actually to Commissioner Chair Smith and Perez. So with that, I will turn it to Sandy.
Okay. So the first 4 slides are the ones that are, I think, the most important. The additional slides after that are more detail. So I won't go over the excruciating amount of numbers in the detail, but I will go over to some of the summaries. So we are grouping them in 4 groups, supporting programs, the core properties, the nonprofit properties, and the tax credits. And those are groups, so you can see that in the detail as it goes in the presentation itself. So I'll leave it at that. The first slide is what we call a period to date slide, and it is comparing the actual to budget for the same period of time. So for the fiscal period programs, which is July 1st through the end of the year, we're doing July 1st to September 30th. So it's a 3-month comparison. And then for the calendar years, we're doing January through September. So that's a 9-month comparison. And so we show us income statements and net cash flows, and we are positive in all the groups except for the tax credits. And I'll explain that as we do some of the commentary. But I did want to mention that there is also a financial update called annual budget, slide prior to this one. And that's comparing the year to date for the fiscal July 1st through the end of September, for the budget's at a 12 month, so it's a full year budget instead of the period budget. The one before was only for the 3 months of budget. If that makes sense. And then the same thing with the calendar year, we are looking at a full year budget, so comparing that to actuals. It just gives a different view. I actually like to see how actuals pegging against a full year, because sometimes that gives it can skew if you're looking just period wise. If there's for instance, principal payments sometimes are only made like once or twice a year, so you wouldn't see those sometimes. But if you're pegging against the year, you can see a little bit more that's happening with the budget. Okay, let's go to the commentary. So since we grouped them in 4, it's easier to kind of identify as the group itself, how does it look overall? In the supporting programs, we're showing the income slightly above a budget, expenses slightly above budget also, but income is still higher than expenses. That's something I always like to see. It's a send a positive. But we did notice the maintenance expense allocation seems to be incomplete. It seems to be high when we peg it against the budget. So Kimberly and I are going to be looking into that, seeing if there was journal entries that haven't been done yet, or something was actually journaled incorrectly. So we're going to be looking at that. It also shows kind of the skewing a little bit with the disposition of the Baker Heights, and showing the gain of other income or non-operating income, of just a little over 2 million. The core properties, income and expense are below budget. Again, they're still looking as a positive net income. Income is higher than expense as it is. Nonprofits, we're looking about the same thing as the core properties, but we're slightly below budget. And still showing a positive net income. The tax credits, income and expenses are above budget. And that's mostly because of higher financing than budgeted. So this is a seller finance note, and it's the subject to available cash. We have identified that there is still positive cash in the tax credits. So this is a okay an expense that's happened. It's just that it wasn't budgeted to happen. So it's showing that's skewing the actual to budget a little bit. So it reflects a negative net income, but the cash is still positive. That's missing.
Any questions from anyone? Cynthia or John, because I know that we had that to it earlier. Okay. Thank you. So at this point, the board will now adjourn into executive session for a period of.
Oh, yeah, we need a motion to approve the financial.
Sorry. Okay, so at this point, I'd like to get someone to make a motion to approve the financial statements. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
I
Any opposed?
I will abstain.
Okay. Let's move on. So at this point, the board now are to go into executive session for a period of say 20 minutes. To review the performance of a public employee. And the board will convene back in session at 1:53. Reconvening in public session, and no action was taken in the executive session. And there's nothing proposed coming out of it either. So at this point, I'd like to say that the next board meeting will be Monday, February 24th, 2025. And at this point, we can look at a motion for adjourning the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I
Okay, great.